Pop and the Parousia. Now there's an odd word, and it's been taken out of the dictionaries in the last 40 years. Parousia. I found a dictionary, the Wordsworth Concise, and it's in there. It just means the second coming. So if that isn't a sign of one of the last signs of the second coming, that they take the word out of the dictionary that's been in there so long. Pop and the Parousia. The spirit that inspires artistic endeavor and all endeavor in the world, but in particular the endeavor that conveys meaning and substance and food for thought, has worked through pop and classical culture for centuries, and without really intending to or meaning to, in the last 30-40 years I've become a student of pop culture. And we have a university in Alberta here called Athabasca, and they've got a series called The Rocky Road from Presley to Punk. And it occurred to me a few years ago that they're missing the whole middle, a very significant middle portion of that. And it works alliteratively from Presley to Prague to punk. Now, progressive music of any sort. Mozart was a progressive composer. He was right at the cusp between the old Baroque era and the classical era, and he drew on folk traditions and anything and everything he could that was useful to him. In the 60s, Mr. George Martin and the Beatles pioneered the progressive trend, and in 1968 a huge explosion of progressive bands, from Straubs and Jethro Tull to Yes and King Crimson and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Genesis, and my personal favorite as far as uniqueness of sound, Gentle Giant. Well, I'm from Calgary, and Calgary is the second city of the world after Nashville, to give them their full due, for country music. Yeah, when I was growing up, we liked both kinds, country and western. Well, I never warmed much to country music. But one of my favorite bands, as it turned out in recent years, I've realized, drew very heavily on great western movie themes, like The Magnificent Seven. Now, ask yourself if this didn't inspire what I'm going to do after, with a little humor injected. Magnificent, magnificent seven, magnificent, magnificent seven, magnificent seven, magnificent seven, magnificent song of seven, not 6 or 8 or 9, but magnificent, magnificent seven. Attend. first thing I ever heard out of that band in 1971, 40 years ago. And those words I threw in there were what should have been an instrumental. I apologize for my humor. But yes is a word with a glorious ring. Those were words spoken by Jeremy in Yellow Submarine, and I have no doubt that's what inspired the name of the band. I saw an interview with Chris Squire and John Anderson about how they got their name when they were describing coming up with different ideas, and each time John or Chris would come up with an idea, Peter Banks, the original guitarist, would say, "Yes." Eventually they said, "Well, what do you mean? Is a name for the group?" He goes, "Yes." And years later, I see their second guitarist, Steve Howe, on Regis and Kathy Lee, and Regis says, "Can't buy a better name than that." So, guys, Chris, John, forgive me, but I've produced some parody of your material, which will be the subject of my second spot in this series. From Presley to Prague to punk.